we haven't fought. Imagine that. They gotta lie. They gotta lie. They gotta lie all the time. They can't even believe their own lie. You can't even believe your own lie.
I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like he like doing things with his hands down, flashy.
Too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it.
So here's the scene. At this press conference, Teofimo Lopez delivered a stone-cold message to Shakur Stevenson, letting everyone know exactly what's about to happen when they step into that ring. Even though the odds might be stacked against him, Lopez made it crystal clear that he's ready to showcase everything he's got. He put it out there that anyone who sleeps on him is making a huge mistake, and guaranteed a performance that would silence every single doubt about his abilities, his power, and his hunger to win.
I'm gonna beat him up. I'm gonna beat him up.
And we know at one point you contemplated retirement. Seems like you're in a good place now. You're active. Where are you at right now? Where are you feeling about your career?
Mentally, I'm in the Bahamas.
Look, there's no way Teofimo Lopez is letting Shakur Stevenson walk away with the belt that cost him everything to get. This isn't just about boxing for Teo. This represents every sacrifice he's made, every painful training session, every moment of dedication that brought him here. When he talks about this fight, you can hear it's completely personal. This belt symbolizes years of grinding, bleeding, and pushing through when everything hurt. He's not about to hand over something he built through pure discipline and commitment to anyone.
Of being in the ring,
yes.
Shakur Stevenson, obviously
sure.
You guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Yeah, face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this. And I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide.
Here's how this whole thing breaks down, according to the experts. This Shakur versus Teofimo battle is almost certainly going 12 full rounds, but those opening 6 rounds are going to determine everything that follows. Don't expect Shakur to come charging out throwing bombs right away. He's more likely to hang back, study what Teofimo brings, and pick his spots carefully. But here's where it gets interesting. If Teofimo can steal those early rounds and really take control, that completely changes Shakur's game plan for the back half. Teofimo's that type of fighter who comes out hot and explosive, but the big question is whether he can keep that same energy when they hit the championship rounds. If Shakur realizes he's down on the cards, he'll have to abandon his comfort zone and start pressing the action, which could make for an absolutely electric finish. On the flip side, if Teofimo can't establish himself early and clearly loses those first few rounds, Shakur might just coast his way to a comfortable decision victory. This whole fight comes down to timing, energy management, and who can execute their strategy round by round.
Because I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Teo in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight. Now to make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Tio looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Tio is going to bring anything late in the game, you know what I mean, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight. You know what I mean? Where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him actually in.
What drives Shakur Stevenson is this burning need to face the absolute best competition out there. When he watched Teofimo's last performance, something clicked. That confidence, that flashy style, it reminded him of prime Roy Jones, and immediately he knew he had to test himself against that level of skill. This fight represents everything to Shakur, a chance to see exactly where he stands when facing elite opposition, while working with completely new strategies. When he looks back at that William Uta fight, he knows it was weird and demanding, but it taught him everything about handling pressure and thriving when things get uncomfortable. That experience showed him he could handle fighters who bring constant pressure and try to overwhelm him. Now with Teofimo in front of him, Shakur feels completely prepared to deal with the speed, the power, and all the unpredictable elements that come with a high-level opponent. His focus, his ability to adapt, and everything he's learned give him total confidence that he can handle whatever gets thrown at him and turn this into the ultimate test of his skills and mental strength.
But bro, what is it about you that has you, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth and then saying, I want to fight him? It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like, I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool. So it kind of made me want to get in a ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
Your last fight was against William Zepeda in July, and you fought a totally different way. It wasn't the easiest way or the best way to fight, but I think it was good for you and your development because it not only sent a message to the rest of the division, one up, your division at that time, and then the one above you, but it sent a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's gonna have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against some ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy that's trying to like wear me down so much.
Right.
Chris Algieri gets why this Shakur versus Teofimo fight matters so much for boxing as a whole. He's always pushing for these matchups where the top guys actually face each other and take real risks, knowing that even if someone loses, they can still be considered elite. That's exactly what this fight represents, a genuine high-level clash instead of some wild brawl with non-stop punching. The technical skill and strategy these two will display is going to keep everyone glued to their seats, proving that quality beats quantity every single time. A win here would launch Shakur straight into that top 5 to 7 pound for pound conversation, though plenty of people think he already belongs there. Algieri sees this as one of those throwback fights that reminds everyone what boxing is really about. With all the drama, skill, and history that legendary matchups carry, the anticipation and tactical chess match brings back memories of those classic encounters that prove high-level boxing is still as thrilling and meaningful as it ever was.
Or the health of boxing on this side of the world. Listen, there's nothing like the Garden. We've both fought there many times. I fought in the big room. There's nothing like the Garden. Just the vibe, like you said, champ, that's around that. And this fight is deserving to be here. It's that good of a fight. It's that big a fight, and especially like I said, like the health of American boxing. This is one of the best fights that can be made. And putting it in the Garden just makes too much sense.
But the idea of the turmoil, the eyes on it, the spectacle, the circus. Chris, you talked about the idea that Teofimo Lopez kind of lives in this. That's where he flourishes. That's what he loves. This idea that because there's so many eyeballs on it, it's going to be kind of a circus. Does that favor Teofimo a little bit when you look at the strategy? Yes, no?
I'm going to say well, I can't say for certain because there's no certain with Teofimo Lopez. He's one of the most up, down, left, right guys I've ever been around.
Mercurial, we could say.
I mean,
yes.
But when he is on, he's damn near unbeatable. I mean, he's such a good athlete. He has such a good boxing IQ. He's so physical and explosive. And again, I've said this on past shows. I've called him many times for Top Rank, been around fight weeks. And it just seems to me, the more out of sorts he seems, the more back against the wall it looks like, the more that he's an underdog, the better he performs. And this could be that kind of situation. New York is a tough place, man. They're already gibbering, going back and forth, saying like, you know, he reps Brooklyn, but there's kind of questions about his Brooklyn roots. Can he really rep Brooklyn in the way that he says he can? So he's already getting that heat for that. I don't know. It might be a good thing to poke the bear in terms of how well Teofimo is going to show up.
Paulie, that's a huge. You're from Brooklyn. That's a big insult to say that you're not really from Brooklyn.
Insult him a little bit.
Insult him a little bit. Insult him.
But I'll tell you what. I don't. There's so many thoughts in my head with this situation because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out, and this is going to be one of those fights where
Bruce Carrington spotted something crucial about Teofimo's game that could be a real problem against Stevenson. Despite all his athletic gifts and knockout power, Lopez has serious trouble dealing with fighters who move well and constantly change angles. Stevenson's composure and tactical intelligence could expose this weakness completely, making Lopez chase and overcommit when he should be patient. By controlling the distance and pace, Stevenson can force Lopez to fight Stevenson's fight instead of imposing his own will. While Lopez excels in those explosive moments and aggressive exchanges, leaning too heavily on raw power becomes a liability against someone as patient and mobile as Stevenson. Stevenson's defensive awareness and ability to reset after every combination might drive Lopez crazy, wearing down his effectiveness and energy as the rounds pile up. For Lopez to have success, he needs to completely overhaul his movement and find some patience he's never really shown before. This analysis paints a picture where smart footwork, perfect timing, and ring intelligence decide if ever, proving that athleticism by itself won't be enough against such a disciplined and intelligent opponent.
I feel like Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. He has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? We've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so, I don't know. We've seen Teo get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. And both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see just because southpaw that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. Only time he's open. So yeah, other than that, bro, it's gonna be a pretty tough night for Teofimo Lopez, but I feel like it's still gonna be an exciting fight.
Gary Russell breaks down a specific version of Teofimo Lopez that we need to pay attention to, using that Lomachenko fight as the blueprint. When Lopez combines his natural aggression with real control and composure, that's when he becomes truly dangerous. The key is maintaining that intensity while staying disciplined, putting opponents in terrible positions without creating openings for counters. This balance of pressure and smart decision-making makes him nearly impossible to deal with when he's locked in completely. When Lopez fully commits to his game plan, uses his athleticism properly, and times everything perfectly, he can dominate rounds and keep even the best fighters constantly defending.
Glad to take him up on that offer. Why? Because you got to stop and you play with him.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I mean, look, like you said, the first thing you said was bluffing McMuffin, right? So you don't think that he's going to do that. Let's just say that's the case. Let's say he wins this fight, but he doesn't win this fight. Whatever happens.
Like, he made a statement after he said, "Oh, let's see, I'm gonna go back down to 35." So which one is it, man? He kind of 6'7" with it.
There you go.
Come on, which one is it?
So let's talk about 140 then, because obviously there's other champions there. One who you've been going back and forth with recently online, one that you have history with, and you got other guys, Subriel there, somebody else you had history, Richardson Hitchens. What's the route for you going forward after your next fight?
After my next fight, unify. I've always let it be known. I want to be undisputed in my division. I want to unify. Anybody who got a title at the time, that's what I need to see next after my next up-and-coming fight.
Gary,
go ahead.
Just talk about, obviously your division is hot right now. This fight, your fight coming up, you know, maybe one of the biggest ones in Teofimo versus Shakur. Just looking at that fight stylistically, how does it play out in the ring?
It's 50-50. You know, in order for you to participate in this sport, you got to have a high level of confidence. I feel like both of them has a high level of confidence. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, but styles make fights. Naturally, I think Teofimo Lopez is stronger than Shakur. Naturally, I think he has more athleticism than Shakur, and he got a good IQ on the sport itself. But Shakur, I feel like he's a more smarter fighter. He's a more technical fighter. You know, I'm not saying that he's a square or he's just a textbook fighter, but he's seasoned, he's poised. I feel like mentally he's more mature. Like, he don't go outside of the boundaries on taking risks. So.
What really stands out about Lopez is how his explosiveness and power become even more dangerous when he's patient and strategic about picking his spots. By studying that Lomachenko performance, you see that Lopez's effectiveness isn't just about his physical tools, but about executing smartly, adapting on the fly, and staying mentally locked in throughout. When Lopez brings that composed, strategic approach, he transforms into one of the most serious threats in the entire sport.
Everybody was criticizing him for, oh, he's a born fighter. He's a careful fighter. And I feel like with Teofimo Lopez, he's going to be a careful fighter. Now, just because he's a careful fighter doesn't mean that he isn't punctual with how he do things. I think Shakur, he got a lot in this arsenal that he can use to make him be victorious, as well as Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? So it's a 50-50 fight, and it depends on what fighters show up the night of the fight. Right. You know, but if I had to give you my whole honest truth, if Teofimo Lopez show up and is ready to fight just like how he fought Lomachenko, he'll